Toussaint and Osita. Aneke join me now in the studio. Gentlemen, Coupé décalée, it actually began not in Ivory Coast but in Paris, didn't it? Why Paris?
I guess it was just a meeting point of Ivorian immigrants at the time who had moved from Ivory Coast to live there, and they just met up socially, regularly, and basically after a course of time they began to express themselves through music and through dance, essentially.
So Aneke, coming to you now, Coupé décalée means to cheat and to run away. Who are they cheating and what are they running away from?
Actually, from our investigations, it doesn't mean what actually the press express everywhere. With our investigation, we see that it was actually life of living, where people can actually, a movement of dance that we create in the nightclub everywhere. But the media actually express like a shit and running away. So that's why actually you took our time to investigate, and then we found out the funding is actually on the documentary.
So explain to me then how it works, because these DJs in Paris, known as the Jet Set, they became popular for their sort of flamboyant style, didn't they? You know, they'd show up at these clubs, but with large amounts of cash that they'd just hand out to people in the club. Why would they do that, and where did the cash come from?
First of all, they are not the DJ. The Jet Set are not the DJ. There's a youth, actually, they got a lifestyle that I said earlier on, that they use to enjoy themselves in the nightclub. It's a way of living. So there's a people that actually got some business. Some of them that they got actually originate from rich dad. So they got their way of living. There's a way to express themselves. So say, okay, we're African, we live in Europe. That's the way that we are going to show in Africa. It's not only poor people that live in there.
You say it's a way of living, but it's the clothes as well, isn't it, Osita? What sort of things did they wear?
Well, they were just highly influenced by Western designer labels. So a lot of the top-end designer, you know, boutique shops, they followed them very closely, such as Versace and so on. So in a way, it's a bit similar to the Congolese Sepa situation, but they expressed themselves basically through clothes. The look was very important to them.
So give people an idea of why this came about, why this happened. It was all to do with what was going on in Ivory Coast at the time, wasn't it? It was their response to that.
Definitely. I think at that time, it came about perhaps by chance as well. It isn't just something that's always scripted, but because of the political crisis going on in Ivory Coast, they decided that their best way of trying to help the people back home was by making music that was joyous, that was fun, that they could really enjoy, essentially. And at that time in Ivory Coast, because they had the curfew, people really kind of had more time to get into the music and to enjoy the music, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, and it was kind of run by Duke Saga, is that right?
Yeah, Duke Saga was actually the leader of the Jet Set.
So tell me about him. What sort of a character was he?
Duke Saga was very charismatic. There's a guy who's actually lacked the joy. He lacked to be a leader. Yeah. And by chance, he has been living in the past Félix Houphouët-Boigny home, and the first president of Côte d'Ivoire. So from there, you saw why people who actually got some money, that will live in champagne, cigar, and those kind of things. So you actually grow up with this kind of style. So when you actually grow up, there's something that you want to copy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when he died, because he died in 2006.
Exactly, in Burkina Faso.
Was there a danger that the movement would sort of die out now that this sort of charismatic leader had gone? Was that an option, do you think? Was that likely?
Definitely. I think the Ivorian media definitely did kind of try to look at it that way, that possibly because he had gone, it would pass away. But I think his effect and influence on the youth across large parts of Africa was so strong that it's continued on, and he's influenced other young men and young women to actually become artists and make music themselves. And I think that's the most important thing of the whole movement, was that they weren't specifically musicians, but they just got in the studio and became musicians, and by force, really. So he's influenced a whole heap of other young artists to kind of have a similar DIY philosophy.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's kind of spread throughout Africa, really, hasn't it? And then, you know, towards Europe as well. It's certainly, you know, it's certainly done its job. So how come you two got involved with this? How come you decided to make a documentary about Coupé décalée?
Okay, that's quite simple. In 2005, I was actually an exhibition, international exhibition, where actually I was promoting Ivory Coast culture tourists around the world. So from there, I was playing the music Coupé, décalée on the stand. So everyone always come across to say, oh, that music, I love it. That music is very, very nice, but it's not really promoted in the UK. I said, right. And I didn't even care too much about it. Then, 2 months later, I met Osita, who actually came to me as well and said, okay, you're from actually Ivory Coast. There's a movement, the music there, very strong, Coupé, décalée. Can you do something about it? I said, that's come to me twice. So let's do something about it. So the whole idea started from there like that, yeah? And then you actually link up, working together, you make some travel from Ivory Coast and from Paris. So actually, the documentary took us 10 years to actually to make it.
So it was almost like it was meant to be then, wasn't it? It was almost like fate that you got involved with this particular project.
Yeah, passion, faith.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Which is kind of what the movement's all about in the first place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.